Hey Jim, how are you?
Let me get out of the fucking slopes.
I like it. That's nice.
It's cold here. Hey man, it's just about training. Every day you're not training, someone else is, and when you meet, you lose.
So is this like your studio background or this is like an actual studio behind you?
No, this is real.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is real.
That's cool. That's looks like quite a setup.
Yeah, this is the Jimmy Eat World headquarters here,
Yeah.
where all things rock go down.
Cool. Well, yeah, well, thanks for doing this. I know it's kind of short notice, but I just saw the announcement about the graphic novel. So it's 555. It's based on the video. I guess how did
Yeah.
the idea come together? Because I guess when I first got it, I wasn't sure if it was like about the band. And then I was like, okay, this has nothing to do with
Yes.
like the band members' narratives themselves.
No. It's just like a further kind of development of the characters from the 555 video. The song itself is about acceptance and um, the idea that sometimes when you feel like you're doing everything right and nothing's going your way, that sometimes like a big part of the problem in that is either unrealistic expectations or just living in denial about the reality of your personal condition and the conflict. As far as the video goes, like I kind of hate making videos because there's no video that's going to make us like this cool rock band. My favorite videos that we've done have always been like the more weird and adventurous, because like for me, what really got me into music is as a kid, like the early MTV, where it was all about just kind of theatrical insanity, like Joe Elliott from Def Leppard walking around with a glowing sword, and like Duran Duran, the Reflex, or the wall of water comes out onto the crowd. Like that's what made me want to start playing guitar, is that
Totally.
kind of thing. So like an image that's always stuck in my head is the Rick Springfield "Bop Till You Drop" video, where I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. This is exactly what kind of nerd I am, because this is what sticks out to me from my childhood more than almost anything else, is that like stuff like the Rick Springfield "Bop Till You Drop" video, where Rick Springfield leads an insurrection against a reptilian overlord through the power of music. And in just thinking about 555 and the idea of someone who's really out of touch with the reality of their condition, you know, uh, for some crazy reason, I thought about like the reptilian guy, the overseer from Rick Springfield's "Bop Till You Drop" video, and like the executioner from Blazing Saddles. Like from his perspective, he's having a hard day.
Right.
But like there's no reason you should have sympathy for either of these people. Like, so I wanted to explore that. So that's where the idea for the video from 555. This is a really long answer.
No, this is great.
Uh,
This is perfect. To stay in the video for a minute, like what was the process like, I guess, of you explaining this idea to maybe like your bandmates? Were they like
the
totally on board
process
or did
was
you?
the process was me making an extensive mood board and treatment about like every aspect of the video, and them saying, "All right, okay, Jim, go ahead. Yeah, whatever, man."
We don't have to be in it. This is great.
Yeah, well, I mean, no one wants to be in a video. No one wants to actually be in a video, man. Like, they're fine with that.
Because I remember the first time I saw the 555 video, it was really striking visually, but felt really different or really surprising. I mean, did you kind of want to have that kind of effect on people as well, kind of from like a visual aspect?
Yes, I wanted people to say, "This is Jimmy Eat World," because the song is sort of an outlier on our Surviving album too, and I wanted to sort of lean into that. I think when you're struggling a little bit with something you're working on, meeting your self-perception, then I think you're on the right track. Like if you're not laughing a little bit at what you're working on, you're not there yet.
Yeah, totally. No, that definitely makes sense. When you made the video, did you have the idea you'd like to expand the concept to a comic or something else?
Yeah, because like I mean, why are these characters like what is this about? Like to really have it be effective, like it needed to be serious. You know, it's not just this wacky, hey, let's freak people out, because that's not, people see that all the time and it's lame. I knew that to make the video work, it would have to these characters would have to have some depth to them. And we just, it just seemed like it just lent itself to further development in a comic adaptation. Like there was, it was just screaming for it.
Are you a big comic book fan yourself? Like, do you read a lot of graphic novels?
I was growing up, like I collected comics for a long time growing up, and then it just got to be impractical once I went to college and started
Yeah.
touring, and then dropped out of college and then started touring. I sort of, it was just too hard to keep up, and I'd rather buy like guitar stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. So what, I guess, like, what was the process like of like working with the artists? How involved were you? How much do you want to step back and let them do their thing? What was the process like?
It's totally different. I mean, I've never been involved in anything like this before. I've only tried writing like fiction outside of song, like once, and it was really hard. So I knew that my lane was kind of providing prompts and giving overall direction, but really I wanted it to be the work of the people I was choosing to collaborate based on who they were. So Alex and I, the writer, got to, over the phone talking quite a bit about like the character's backstory and just the general arc of Clark's self-examination of his values and morals and where he might end up in the end. And then I sort of just got out of the way. Like I never had a name for the evil galactic empire that Clark belonged to. And then Corin, the illustrator, artist, it just seemed like a natural pick because so much of what he does, of what I've seen from him is a perfect mix of the futuristic fantasy vision I had in my head for Clark's world. And that worked out great because all the comic people were stoked on him too.
That's great. I mean, do you see this as being part of like a larger series or a standalone, or who knows? Trying to figure it out. You don't know?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Like it's fun. I mean, I think like, thinking about these things and punching up a ridiculous kind of sci-fi world is fun. That's where I came from as a kid, man. This is great. Like, of course I'd love to keep going with it, but I mean, there's some reality
Yeah.
against that too. But it was fascinating to be a part of, for sure.
I'm sure. I mean, it must be cool to use your brain in a totally different kind of creative way after using so much for music.
Yeah. Like a lot of how I write songs is kind of the same way you would approach fiction writing. Like you ask yourself questions about things, and that gives you answers, which lead to more questions, which give you answers. And when those answers aren't readily apparent, I get deep into like the backstory of things. There's a little bit of pressure off when it's not one of our Jimmy Eat World songs to think about it in those terms.
Right. Right. I mean, I know you had I listened to your podcast, Pass Through Frequencies. I know you had Gerard from My Chemical Romance on recently, and obviously like Claudio from Coheed has done a lot of stuff with comic. I mean, there's Gerard, some of these other people in it's like similar music scene. Has that been kind of inspiring to see the kind of obviously have that kind of success kind of in the comic or the adaptation world? Or
oh, it's super cool. I mean, I get it. It's super cool. Like, we all grew up on the same things, so it's totally a natural thing to branch out into taking that to the next level, either with comics or film or you know, novels or whatever.
Definitely. I mean, as far as the podcast goes, I mean, has that been kind of another exciting medium for you to kind of explore outside of music, I guess, because that's like a whole other sort of beast, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure. Because like everyone, no one's School of Rock didn't exist when we all learned how to play in bands. So it was like figure it out, and everyone has a different way that they figured it out, and it's fascinating to talk to other people about like how they've figured that out. I guess that's the thing I've learned the most is the fundamentals are the same. Like there's no trick. There really
Yeah.
is no trick. The battle is you against yourself, and what are you willing to be vulnerable with? Like how deep do you want to look? Because that's where you're going to find yourself, and that's where a song is going to be.
No, for sure. I mean, I feel like one of the things that I enjoy about podcasting is it's like just an excuse, or like even these types of interviews, like excuse to like talk to your friends or like catch up. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
have you felt that? Yeah.
Oh, it was great. It definitely kept me sane to spend an hour just talking about things I would talk about anyway if I happen to be in person with these people, and catch up with old friends and meet new people, you know, talk about music things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I totally get that, and it's nice. I feel like so it's nice having that kind of uninterrupted time where like no one's looking at their phones, like everyone's really engaged. Like I feel like I that's something you don't always get, I guess.
Yeah, that's totally true.
I saw you guys just did these Phoenix sessions where you were doing Clarity. Was that was the last one? And so what was that experience like? I guess I know you did the Clarity tour a while back. I mean, what was it like kind of doing it over Zoom or virtually as opposed to playing in front of crowds? I imagine that like love that record and kind of grew up on it.
Yeah. I think last March when everything shut down and we were about to leave for tour, and so were a lot of other people, and people got tours canceled. That the whole how do we connect with people? People were sort of grasping for any. It was the Wild West. It still is the Wild West with that. Like, how can we connect with people when we can't do the thing that we want to do? I mean, last year should have been all touring for us, and it wasn't. So the thing we thought about was, well, how can we make this different from something and from any number of sets you can see on YouTube? Like you can see days of us playing just regular sets on YouTube or wherever, So something different we thought would be, but well, let's focus in on like albums. And so that's where we got the idea to shoot Clarity as a full piece. And I think it would be cool to do this with all of our albums. I think there's things over the years with some of the songs we've been playing that have changed the song for the better, and we like incorporate that into the song now. You know, it's sorry, man, my kid is trying to. I didn't turn off my notifications on my phone here.
Oh no, don't worry
Speaking
about
of
it.
like, yeah, you were saying, Jonathan, like, yeah, man, Clarity, whatever, it's cool, people like it.
Yeah, I still always think of that Lucky Denver Mint, Never Been Kissed, Drew Barrymore
Yeah,
video. I mean, I don't know how many of your current fans were around when that was out, but I mean, I always associate that with that song for some reason.
it's funny. Drew Barrett, like that's kind of a big reason that album got released.
Really?
Yeah, because we had made Clarity and it was sitting around for a while, and like that when it got included in that soundtrack, then K-Rock added the song, and then all of a sudden we got a release date. Like I'm not sure if Clarity would have been released on Capitol if we would have been maybe one of those horror stories about groups that make an album and then it gets shelved and you never hear about us again. So thanks, Drew. Thanks for saving our career.
Have you been able to sort of write any new stuff for the band over the quarantine? Have you been focusing on other stuff?
No, not at all.
No, you
not
just
at all.
haven't picked up your guitar at all once?
I picked it up once. I mean, we had to get ready to play the Clarity album, but like, no, it's been sort of tough. Like it's been kind of more of a gathering year than an assembling year. So I have a ton of things I need to edit and sift through and develop, and that's going to be this year.
Yeah, I mean, so is there anything else kind of you have sort of coming up, I guess, as far as like obviously the graphic novel, anything else you're kind of working on or anything like that?
Uh, we're hopeful that we might be doing some shows in the fall, end of the year. It's likely that um, it's likely we'll book some shows. I don't know whether or not we actually can show up and play. I don't know, but
Right,
it's
right,
likely. Um,
right.
I'm just really optimistic about that. And as soon as we know that we're going to do that, we'll fly the flag really high on all of our social properties. I mean, besides that, we're just working on new material, fleshing out things. Got band practice in 20 minutes here, so that's good.
Oh man. Well, say hey to the guys for me. That's cool. That's great. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
glad.
of course, Jonah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for sitting down and chatting. It's nice to catch up with you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Right on. Cool. Well, yeah, have a good practice and I'll talk to you soon. Later.